Today, we're diving into a really fascinating framework for understanding ourselves called Triune Alchemy. It's this idea that our physical body, that's just the starting point, that there are these hidden layers to who we are that we can actually train and develop.
So, let's just jump right in with a question that it might shake things up a little. We all know our physical body, right? But what if that's just the tip of the iceberg? What if your existence is actually layered with these other dimensions that you can learn to tap into and strengthen?
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get to know these hidden bodies. Then we'll talk about the right mindset you need for this kind of work. After that, we'll look at 3 core tools for development. And finally, we're going to tie it all together into one powerful daily ritual.
All right, first up, let's get into the core idea of this whole philosophy, that our existence isn't just one single thing, but it's made up of 3 distinct, yet totally interconnected, layers.
Okay, this table really lays it all out for us, like a map of our own being. You've got the gross body, that's our physical self. Then the subtle body, our mind, our intellect. And finally, the causal body, our deep emotional and spiritual core. And look, each one has its own realm and its own unique potential, a developed state that we can actually work towards.
So we start with the one we all know, right? The gross body, or Sthula Sharira. But here's the thing. This philosophy says we often just settle for getting by. It sees the body as this incredible vessel for our life force, our prana shakti, which we can cultivate for amazing vitality and strength.
Now we go a layer deeper to the subtle body, the Sukshma Sharira. This is our mind, the home of our thoughts and logic. But developing it isn't just about being smarter. It's about sharpening our intuition and finding this deep sense of clarity, even when the world feels chaotic.
And at the very center of it all, we find the causal body, the Karana Sharira. You can think of this as the source code of our being. It's where our deepest beliefs live, our capacity for compassion and connection. It's really the foundation that our mental and physical selves are built on.
So you might be asking, okay, I get it, 3 bodies. Now what? Well, before we even get to the specific techniques, the philosophy is super clear. None of this works unless you have the right foundation in place.
And this quote just nails the mindset perfectly. I mean, you wouldn't try to write a novel before you learn the alphabet, right? It's the exact same idea here. This inner work means you've got to master the basics before you can expect any big results.
And this is so important. The big takeaway here is that this is not a spectator sport. It's not about just going through the motions or waiting around for some lightning bolt of insight to strike. The philosophy puts all the power right in your hands. Progress comes from your own consistent effort.
Okay, foundation is set. Let's get into the nuts and bolts, the practical tools. This philosophy takes countless techniques and boils them down into 3 simple but really powerful practices, and each one targets a specific body.
First up is japa, which is mantra repetition. The whole idea here is that sound creates vibration. It's kind of like how a single musical note can make a whole room hum. That constant, rhythmic repetition of a mantra creates an internal resonance that they say strengthens and stabilizes your physical, gross body.
Next, for our mind, we've got the second tool, pranayama, or breath control. This practice sees breathing as way more than just taking in oxygen. You are intentionally drawing in universal life energy, prana, to directly fuel your subtle body and bring a ton of clarity to your mind.
And our third and final tool is dhyana, or meditation. This is all about focused contemplation, maybe on something like the light of the rising sun. And it's designed to work on that deepest level, to awaken the causal body and really nurture that core of compassion and connection inside of us.
And boom, here it is, all laid out. You can really see the beautiful symmetry of this system, right? Each practice is perfectly targeted. Japa for the physical, pranayama for the mental, and dhyana for the spiritual. It's a complete, holistic toolkit for developing your entire self.
All right, so we've got the 3 bodies and we've got the 3 tools. But here's the secret sauce. The real power, according to this philosophy, doesn't come from doing them separately. It comes from weaving them all together into a single, integrated ritual.
And I love the analogy the philosophy uses for this. Think about it. A child doesn't grow their right arm, then their left leg, then their other arm. Everything develops all at once, together. And that's the goal here. Holistic, balanced growth across all 3 bodies simultaneously.
And this is where it all comes together. This is the whole shebang. You start with a simple preparation to focus your mind. Then you begin the japa, that quiet chant. But while you're chanting, you bring in the dhyana by visualizing this golden light filling you up. And then finally, you weave in the pranayama, your conscious breathing, right into the rhythm of the chant. Inhaling, holding, exhaling. In one seamless flow, you're using all three tools to nourish all three bodies.
And you know what's maybe the most powerful part of all this? The time commitment. We are talking about just 15 minutes a day. The focus isn't on these long, intense sessions, but on the simple, consistent act of showing up for yourself every single day.
But, and this is a big but, there's one final piece of wisdom we have to remember. Patience. True growth, like a giant banyan tree, is slow and steady. It happens on its own schedule. Trying to find a spiritual shortcut, the source tells us, is just a recipe for disappointment.
So we'll leave you with this question. What could you build, really build, with just 15 minutes a day? In a world that's always pulling us outside of ourselves, this practice is this incredible invitation to invest that time back inward. It's a chance to build a stronger, more integrated foundation for your entire being, one conscious breath at a time.